Yeah, so it's extremely important to have noise control things in procedures in place because we as part of the health and safety, we need to make sure that people aren't exposed to excessive noise for prolonged periods of time because obviously it affects your hearing in the long run. So um, sometimes this is done, and employees offer ear defenders, but often they're not really used, and then they're not enforced in the correct way. So it is super important because at the end of the day, we all want to keep hold of our hearing, and industrial spaces, as we know, can be quite loud. So that's the first point, really. In terms of controlling noise within those spaces, if we think about an industrial warehouse with some maybe heavy plant machinery, we know that there's probably going to be a concrete or screed floor. There's probably going to be a metal ceiling, and there's probably going to be metal walls or plasterboard walls at best. So all of those things there are highly reflective to noise. If noise is made within that space, it's going to bounce around and it's going to echo around, and it's going to build up as the next machine down there makes more noise and so on. So if that continues to happen over time, you're going to get a lot of stress from your employees. It's going to be a hectic place to work and not particularly enjoyable. You might have fairly high staff turnover if these measures to make sure that your hearing's protected aren't enforced by people. But it can be mitigated by the likes of some acoustic treatment within that space. So we can put in there's some industrial sort of wall linings that we can put in, plant room liners. There's some very weather and sort of environmentally robust rafts and baffles that we can put in, which don't have to cost a lot of money. Also, these materials don't necessarily, because they're not aesthetically finishing products. Um, they're kind of they can be more cost effective than you think. So it's about absorbing as much of that noise from that machine or from that person or from that hammer before it hits that surface, and then that surface, and then that surface, and it just continues to go around and being reflected by those surfaces. If we can put something in the way that's going to punctuate that noise and absorb it, then we're going to go a long way to sort of making that a much nicer acoustic environment to work in. The
So it's
benefits of that, sorry, just to sort of the benefits of having that treatment, not just from a legislation point of view, you are going to have a nicer environment for people to work. Yes, you probably are going to have ear defenders if you're working next to the machine or whatever it might be, but if you're working over there, you might not have to. The noise levels over there might have been measured, and it's actually fine over there since we've had this treatment put in. Um, that's going to stop a lot of any potential litigation on the employer further down the line if there's any damage to hearing. It's going to stop sick days. It's going to make people want to come to work. It's going to encourage a sense of calm when they come into the workplace, and just the knock-on effects of that are huge. So it's something that should be considered and is being more and more considered by warehouse and distribution type environment owners.